Well, good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day here today. I got to apologize for everything. I'm trying to get all this straight and done properly. I'm not using my streaming mic because I can't seem to be able to connect my external monitor and the mic at the same time to my Mac. My adapter, I don't think, is capable of that kind of throughput. So I need better equipment. I understand that, so I'm using my trucker headset right now. As time goes, I will improve upon this, get better equipment, get better software, and the whole nine yards. I plan on eventually streaming this to multiple platforms in the future. Right now, I'm just going to do this to YouTube right now. That's all I can do at the moment. I will improve upon everything as the time goes by. So, sorry about the technical delays right now. And I know this is chapter one that I'm about to do. The prologue isn't up yet. It's still currently being encoded and uploaded as we speak right now. It's going to take a good minute. So I encourage you to check it out. When it gets put up there, it's a lot crappier than this. Again, I apologize. I used different software and I didn't feel like re-recording it. It was just, no thank you. It's not my thing. This is not what I enjoy or have fun with. I mean, I do, but I most likely like to write. I'm the creative side. No, I need to hire like a YouTube editor, producer, or something like that. But it is what it is. Mm, coffee. I love coffee. Can't get enough of it. All right. So with that being said, please share the video, like it, comment. Hopefully, if people decide to join during the live chat, they can during the live stream, they can send in a chat. I'll try to respond as much as I can. Obviously, I'm an unknown still, so it's not expecting it to happen, but it's up there for anyone to do. So without further ado, let's get right into this, right? Shall we? All right. It's not showing my mouse. Oh, that's fine, I guess. Is it gonna? Yeah, chapter one. Oh, that's WarpStar. Yep, that's what I'm doing. For a minute there, for a minute there, my brain was thinking I need to do chapter one of Epsilon. No, no spoilers on Epsilon yet. Absolutely not. So we start off by this nice quote right here by Arthur C. Clarke. Even if we never reach the stars. Oh, okay, that made it look better for me, but not for you. Okay, maybe let me see if I can move this around. All right, trying to make it better on my external screen to read it for you guys. I'll try one more time here. Can I full screen this? Hey, damn it. Okay, well, there we go. Even if we never reach the stars by our own efforts, in the millions of years that lie ahead, it is almost certain that the stars will come to us. Isolationism is neither a practical policy on the national or cosmic scale, and when the first contact with the outer universe is made, one would like to think that mankind played an active and not merely a passive role, that we were the discoverers, not the discovered. So I chose this quote because it put a good overall theme into what I was trying to accomplish. I firmly believe that is very true. I firmly believe that isolationism is not a good policy. We need to branch out. We need to show ourselves. We need to make sure that the universe knows we come in peace. And I'm not one. I do believe that there is life in the universe, but the whole thing around the story and in the book, humanity was not the discovered. Or no, I'm sorry. Humanity was not the discoverers. Humanity was the discovered. And you're going to read and find out what exactly happens when the universe discovers us. That's why I chose that. Now, in each chapter, I have a quote. I haven't done this in Epsilon yet, and I'm not 100% sure I'm going to put quotes in Epsilon yet. I haven't made up my mind. I'm still debating about that because I kind of got mixed feedback of the small amount of people that did give me feedback. The problem with the feedback, the negative feedback that I got on it, people were worried that I would be copyright infringements, which I looked it up, mentioning the quote, as long as I cite the source, it should not be an infringement of copyright. If it is, I apologize and I will fix it. But if it's not, I don't believe it is. Every bit of research I've done, it's not. So the quotes, each quote in each chapter, an exception to chapter one, because I mean, yeah, there was a prologue, but each quote pertains in some way to the previous chapter, not the next or not what's upcoming, but the previous chapter, except for chapter one, which pertains to everything. That's why I chose it. All right, chapter one. Our setting sits on the FWS Avenger. That is a Federation warship. That's what the W stands for. Uh, colony ships would be FCS. Um, civilian ships would just be FSS for spaceship. So that's how I did my naming scheme. So I put a date in there, and that's one of the rare times that you're actually going to see a date. And this is located in the Sirius star system. So this first line I got a lot of positive feedback for. It was a cold day, but every day in space is freezing. Aboard the Federation Dreadnought Avenger, the ambient temperature was colder than normal. I got a lot of positive feedback on that from people who read it. And I don't know, at first it felt weird, felt awkward. Didn't feel right, but it did feel right, kind of. So I just kept it. And I'm glad I kept it because it got some good reception on it. Like I said, I'm not going to read word for word, but I am going to go over it and point out certain things. So, at this point in time, we introduced Commander Jonathan Henderson. I want to say something, but I don't know if I should because it's going to spoil the overall arching. Um, let's just say, as far as book one is concerned, Commander Jonathan Eugene Henderson is the protagonist. Well, damn it. I said too much because that's technically wrong. That's technically wrong. Damn. Well, we'll see for right now. It's focused on him for right now. Okay? At this point in time, he was the executive officer of the ship, and he used to be the chief engineer. He did fast track all throughout the academy and climbed the ranks pretty quick. Another thing I got backlash for was how I made him at such a young age. This is can be considered both true and untrue. Yes, it is extremely rare for someone so young to get into a command seat pretty quickly in modern military times. It is pretty young. Not unheard of, but it is young. There is a reason why I did this, and there is a reason why John seems so overpowered or godlike per se for what he is, because there was a negative review for that right there. The guy didn't read further in. I didn't do it because it's easy. I did it for a specific reason. And I'm not going to tell you what that reason is right now because Epsilon dives into that a little bit. It does. Spoiler alert. Epsilon will take care of that. Well, I don't say take care of it, but it'll touch on it. So he's in sole command of the Dreadnought Avenger. Dreadnoughts are one of the military capital ships in the fleet. They're one of the largest ones ever constructed. There's several dozen dreadnoughts currently in the Federation fleet. They are meant to be mighty powerhouses. think of World War II battleships. Essentially, they're bigger, beefier, mightier versions of those. Wow. What an awesome time for my mother to call me. Ignore. That is, yeah. So, she has a tendency of calling me right at the wrong times. I don't know if anyone's going to remember, but there was a post a while ago. I think I was working on Epsilon. I was right in the middle of it, just going at it, full focused. She called me right in the middle of it. Talked bullshit and just random stuff for an hour. I lost my train of thought, lost everything. That was it. Was done writing for the day. She has a tendency of doing that. I love her though. So, anyways, the Dreadnought. It was meant to be a giant, massive ship capable of raining down pure destruction. They have one of the strongest shields and defenses in the entire fleet because they're still massive. They're able to hold multiple fission generators to independently send power to weapons, shields, propulsion, everything. They can pump out a beating. They're massive. Here we enter Ensign Charlene Carr, and she is going to play an absolute pivotal role in the entire series. Yeah, I said it. She's going to be around for quite a while. Now, here's a little kind of a spoiler, WarpStar spoiler. If you haven't read the book, I do not recommend you watch this live stream. Absolutely not. Don't watch this. Don't watch this stream. Don't watch these videos until you've read the book. Because I'm gonna, hint out and talk about stuff in the book. If it's published, I'm gonna talk about it. Now, if it's not published, like stuff out of Epsilon, no, I'm not. I might accidentally slip up and hint a few things. So keep your eyes peeled, your ears peeled, whatever. But as far as WarpStar goes, the book's out there. It's published. It's been out for over a year now. So at this point, spoilers are fair game for WarpStar. It really is. So Ensign Charlene Carr is going to be a pivotal role, a pretty big character in the entire series. She was created as a sort of counterbalance to John per se. But her main goal, her main reasoning was to be the absolute best pilot, even better than John, even though he's godlike per se. That's what I was told. Absolutely phenomenal pilot, the best that Starfleet has. Starfleet. Wow, I can't believe I said that. It is no, the best the Federation has offered, and also, surprise, surprise, John's love interest. And I kind of did a little tiny description of her there, try to leave it as much to imagination as possible. Lateral thrusters always kept giving problems. Here I describe him reminiscing on the times where he was an engineer. And you can show right here is when I first started to mention how his infatuate I can't pronounce words today. His attraction to Charlene is really showing itself. So there was nothing known about here. CIC, Combat Information Center, is a standard room in every single military ship. Excuse me. When you see shows like Star Trek, they don't mention a CIC. They have a bridge. In most military vessels, realistically, there's two, a bridge and a CIC. The bridge does serve as the main primary command center, but it's usually up top, wide view, and everything. Now in Star Trek, I guess the Enterprise D had a battle bridge, but that was not manned during normal operations. Everything was routed to the bridge. But in a military situation, one of the reasons why there is a CIC is redundancy. If the bridge is an easy target on a ship, it doesn't matter if it's a naval warship or if it's a spaceship. The way they're positioned on board the vessel, it's an easy target. Man, my asthma is not doing good today. I apologize. Talking is also not a good thing for me. So this is another reason why I didn't want to delay this for the longest time. Anyways, so if the bridge gets taken out, the CIC can easily take command of the ship and resume duties. That's like one of the biggest reasons why there are two command centers. Um, Another reason is in a proper warship, you have many different departments, many different sensors and information coming in. It is just insanely easier to have all that information come into one spot, be digested and assessed by a giant group of people and sent to wherever it needs to go to. That's the primary purpose of a CIC, honestly. Now, I'm sure military buffs are going to come at me. Go for it. That's the extent of my knowledge. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Um, that's how I created a CIC and its purpose in my universe. So if it's wrong in current modern military terms, I'm sorry. I apologize. Just, yeah, it is what it is. So here is a little issue. At 57 light minutes, the target would not become a threat for several days at the very least. Oh, wait a minute. Am I jumping the gun here? Yeah, okay. I am jumping the gun. There is. So I based my universe in relative physics, Einstein's relativity. Distance and light absolutely matter in my universe. Absolutely matters. 57 light minutes away is a very long time. 57-minute light minutes does not mean 57 actual minutes. No, I can't do the math in my head. I could pull up a relativistic calculator and tell you the exact numbers. I'm not going to. You get the point. It's an extremely long period of time. So John at this point was annoyed because 57 light minutes is not an immediate threat. It's not. Yeah, it needs to be observed, but it's not an immediate threat. So I did say a little thing where this is an issue here. I don't know if you guys caught that. I made a little oopsies. Later on in the book, when I get to it, I will point it out. I did my relativistic calculations wrong. You know what the surprising part about that is? Not a single person caught it. Not one. I didn't get a single bit of feedback, whether positive or negative, about how that relativistic math was wrong. I caught it later in the audio production when I was listening to Zane um, do his test previews during each chapter, each production. I'm sitting here. He read it word for word like he was supposed to and everything. I'm sitting here going, "That's not right. That's not right." He must have got the wrong copy. So I looked at the copy that I sent him. He's reading it word for word. It's written wrong. So I'm like, shit, what did I do wrong? Then I looked into the printed production version, the one I sent to Amazon. Oh my god, I completely missed it! I missed it. So you'll see. I think it's in chapter 9. If I remember correctly, I believe it's in chapter 9. So you're going to have to wait further in, couple, about 9, 10 weeks down the road. Well, when I get to that chapter, I will point out the oopsies that no one caught and everyone missed. Actually, I think Zane may have not noticed it. I can't remember. Zane pointed of a few calculations off. He did. I just can't remember if that was the one that he caught or not. But yeah, so you'll see. OOD, Officer of the Deck. So this is the one and only time I mention a sub-circuit in the master circuit system. That wasn't intentional. It was just a little sub-note thing. I wrote it in there, every intentions of using a sub-circuit in the master circuit system. It just kind of slipped my mind. Completely forgot about it after this point on. So it never shows up again. It's a minor detail. Whoop-de ding dong, I guess. Ensign Jennifer Smedley. She is another pretty prominent character. She's one that I'm trying to. I have high hopes for her. I really do. She serves a minor role in WarpStar. She serves a minor role in Epsilon. But with the way I'm going to end Epsilon, trying to think how to properly say this. The way I'm going to end Epsilon. Oh no. Oh no, we got a hiccup. Uh oh. Uh oh. My connection screwy. No. Hold on, people. Technical issues. Come on. Alright, one sec, I gotta redo it. Okay. This screen is good now. What about my... Oh, it just had you working. Oh no. Sorry, folks. This is the main problem about doing stuff live and not, you know, doing a video and recording it, because I could have just paused the video production and dealt with this. Maybe I won't do it live next time. I don't know. Come on. Hey, okay. Looks like we might be back in business. All right, we're back in business. Really crappy resolution on my screen, but I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mess with it right now, just because I want this to work. Anyways, so the way I am going to end Epsilon, I'm hoping that Smedley is going to. Uh, I want her to. I plan on it. She is absolutely going to serve a bigger role from book 3 on down. She's a pretty neat character I created. Oh my gosh. What does she want? Let me send a quick message to her. All right, we'll see. Man, I can go hours and hours uninterrupted, but when I do stuff like this, boom, constantly. Crap happens. I'm sorry about that, guys. Anywho, Yeah, so when she is introduced in here, she's, 18 years old, fresh out of the academy. She is an absolute another prodigy, just like John was. She's not going to be, well, I don't know if I should say that because I haven't fully created her character 100% yet. But again, there's a reason she's so bright and so talented. There is an underlying reason. So please don't come at me and say, oh, your characters are too overpowered. It's not fun. There's a reason behind it. I promise you. So at this point, they're looking at a target. And I'm not going to say it yet, but this is the introduction of the Legion on this portion. Now, we don't know it at this point in time yet, but the Legion made first contact during. Oh, I explained it earlier in the prologue one, so you're going to have to go back and see it when it gets sent up. It's at 77% right now, so it's still encoding and all that stuff. But the Alpha Centauri mission, yeah, it was the Alpha Centauri mission. It first encountered the Legion, and then later you're going to find out that John had an encounter with them while in that general area of where the Alpha Centauri went down. Or I shouldn't say went down, exploded, lost at sea, lost at space, all that stuff. I have to suffer, go active. So when you get active and passive mode means the sensors are not actively sending out data. They're just sitting in there. They're just sitting there collecting data. That's all they do is collect data. Think about a camera. A camera is a passive sensor. It takes light in from its apparatus, uh, phone, cameras, right? It takes light in to it, assesses the information, and gives it to you in a form that you can understand. That's what a camera is. It's a passive sensor. An active sensor is something that actively shoots out data, gets a bounce back, it bounces off of whatever, comes back, and then the sensor reads what it received. Like on my iPhone here, for an example, there's a lidar sensor right here, and what it does is it sends out a laser array to points anywhere. It saturates the area with laser, and then that data comes back from the points of where it is, and then the iPhone is able to process the information and give you what you need. LiDAR, radar. Radar actually can be both. Oh no, radar is pretty active. LiDAR, radar. Um, I'm trying to think I can say this right because laser. There's a laser version and then there's a light version. There's LiDAR and LADAR. Yeah, LADAR. That's it too. That's the laser version. LiDAR, radar, infrared. Infrared, I think it's passive. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have the research up. But yeah, I break this down in on the technologies that it has and later on in the book. So we can go over it then. I added a few technologies that are not in existence. I explained why I did that in the prologue version, so go check it out. Yeah. So this part right here, this little tidbit dump, Martian taco. I got mixed reviews on this, mostly positive. A few people, actually only one person in particular, thought that it was unnecessary for so early on in the book and for such a new author to put something in like this. Personally, I thought it gave character. It showed, it opened up to a little bit of the human side of what John is. That's how I felt. And you know what? The positive feedback I got it shown exactly that. A lot of people absolutely loved this section of it, and they said it made him feel more human despite his godlike ability, his godlike demeanor. This right here made him seem more real. And I'm glad I put it in there, and I'm glad I didn't listen to that uh, beta reader who said I should take it out. So, I mean, she got really upset at me for not taking it out, and I feel bad for that. But that's the thing with advice. You, it's impossible to listen to everything everyone says because that's their opinion. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. You just got to take what they say, assess it. If it feels right, go with it. If it doesn't feel right, don't go with it. But just you got to be open minded. I felt like that was wrong on what she said to take it out, and I'm glad I did not take it out because it felt like a good paragraph and a good scene to put it in there, and I got positive feedback from it. So it was a good decision to keep it in, and I'm glad I did. So here's a little oopsie screw up that I did that no one noticed as well. So at the very beginning of this, I tell you I'm in the Sirius star system, right? But if you go down here, GL905. Yeah, so I actually wrote this before I put the Sirius tag up there. I don't know. It just at the time when I first wrote this paragraph, I didn't have an actual star map laid out in my head. I developed it over time, and I forgot to correct some of the oopsies, like this one right here. So no one mentioned it, so I count it as a win. Yeah, just some more filler to uh, to fill in some of the backstory. Trying to get yeah Alpha Centauri. So I was saying it right. So that's all this is. Oh, 317. LiDAR and radar returns. Yep. So yeah, like what I was trying to explain earlier. 57 light minutes out. At this point in the time, they should not be getting LiDAR and radar returns. They should not be getting returns of any kind. Not yet. No way. That's impossible. So that's what this is all about. Point 0.8 of light speed. That's how fast they were traveling. Point 0.8 of light speed. So let me let me give you a little bit of trivia here. Speed of light. The current speed of light is 299,792,458 meters per second. So let's do that. It's roughly 186,000 miles per second. That's how fast the speed of light is. So if I do a calculator, oh, lovely. They're not. Oh, my ear. You gonna download quick enough? I am so not prepared for this, and I'm sorry. Open up. So we do. No, don't track. Go away. I don't care. Why are you not clearing out? What's wrong with this calculator? Clear. What in the absolute heck? This thing is not wanting to clear out. Okay, I guess putting in a zero will work. So 180,000. Oh, let's put one extra zero. That's not needed. There's no delete key. 180. So we got 180,000 times 0.8. 144,000 miles per second is what those ships were traveling at. Can you imagine that? You think your girlfriend or your husband's crazy for going 90 miles an hour, right? 90 miles an hour. Imagine going 144,000 miles per second. I love relativistic space travel. Oh my God, it's just so exciting. So, zero point 0.8 of light speed, that's what they were doing. So, when I say braking, because a lot of people were confused at me when they read the book. They said, what does that mean, braking? How can you brake in space? There's no friction. You don't brake in space in a traditional manner. You don't have calipers and rotors and brake pads where they just squish together and create friction to stop the vehicle. It kind of works like that because there is, well, no, there's no friction involved. So what happens? You have a spaceship traveling, right? Their thrust engines are right here. They're sending out thrust. And let's just say, for make things easier, they're traveling at 1g speeds. Now, 1g is not a constant speed in that term. What it means is the ship is maintaining an acceleration rate of 1g, which means, say the ship is shaped like this, the decks would be this way, so you have your crew standing like this, and with the acceleration that it's doing, it will simulate Earth's gravity the way it is. So there is thrust gravity on board the ship. That's what 1g of thrust means. It is producing enough thrust to produce 1g of gravity on board the ship, or 1g of force on the people. Now, when you brake, the engines stop. So all of a sudden, the ship is at 0g. Thrusters engage. The ship's got to flip over. So say this point right here is the front of the bridge, of the front this way, right? So when it brakes, it comes, no thrust. If they produce brake speed, you have to burn at the same rate going there that you were coming. So normally if you're going from point A to point B, you would accelerate at 1g up to the halfway mark. Once you get halfway, you'd flip and burn to decelerate the exact same distance going at 1g. That's the safest way of doing it. If you wanted to do a combat brake, instead of burning at 1g, you'd pump that shit up to like 2g, 4g, 5g, whatever you want to handle, and you will brake faster, but you won't get to your destination. Or you can continue to brake or continue to accelerate past that brake point, right? If you do the math right, you can accelerate past the brake point, 15 seconds, doesn't matter, however long you want to do, and then flip it 3/4 of the way in and do a combat brake burn afterwards and slow down much faster. Chapter 9 demonstrates this. So, little, that's what that means, braking. So at this point right here, braking at 300 Gs. Imagine yourself 300 times heavier than what you are. 300 times. Let's say, I'm not calling anybody fat or anything. I'm just going to use this as a general number. you weigh 200 pounds, okay? If you were in a vessel that was either accelerating or decelerating at 300 Gs, you actually would weigh 60,000 pounds. Can you imagine that? That's why the next line is no living creature could survive such forces. Because 300 Gs of force on a person would absolutely crush them. Ever watch those hydraulic press videos on TikTok and YouTube? Imagine that, except quicker. It wouldn't be a slow crush. Your body would boom liquefied. Crazy, isn't it? So here is the description of the Legion ships. Not going to go into it. I'm hoping to let your imagination play wild. Pulling the claxons. Sound general quarters. All hands battle stations. Set condition 1 throughout the ship. All hands battle stations. I don't know why, but I really love writing that. Sounding the alarm. Oh yeah. So here's another thing I got backlash for. Car, right here. She was on her console because there was nothing to do, really. She was on a console listening to music, drumming it out, just being a little mini rock star. There was nothing to do because they were in a peaceful time. A lot of people said that that was not military proper. I mean, and they may be right. I'm not a military expert. I like to consider myself a connoisseur of it, but I never served. I'm not an expert in any way. But that wasn't the point of this. The point was they've been at peace, no major conflict. I mean, yeah, technically the war is still going on paper, but they never had any major engagements with the Republic for over 100 years. Nothing. No major conflicts whatsoever. What's the point of being 100% at attention all the time? That right there, in my honest opinion, would quickly kill morale. That's why there's different alert statuses on a combat ship. When you're at station ready or condition green, whatever you want to call it, it's a relaxed, chill environment. I mean, yeah, you still have to be alert to a certain degree, but it's a relaxed and chill environment. And when you're in a relatively peacetime conditions, I mean, it mainly depends on the command staff of the ship, but Captain Mahoney and John Henderson were relaxed about certain policies like that. It's just it's human. We can't be expected to be robots at all times. Just I find that to be unrealistic. So that was the reasoning behind that. You know, in my universe, that is accepted. In my universe, may not be accepted in current reality of today, but I'm not going off of today's standards. I'm trying to do it, as close as possible, and I'm using U.S. military as a good reference point for a lot of the stuff. But I'm not trying to emulate the U.S. military piece by piece, 1-to-1 ratio. I'm not doing that. I'm creating my own thing. So that's what that is. So in here they wanted to create a little maneuver. Pretty pretty standard, pretty crazy tactic that Charlene pulls off. Nothing special really about any of this. It's just standard. Yeah, and of course the typical civilians. Oh, nothing is gonna happen. We're not in any danger. Why? Why are you ordering us? You're just a stupid military contractor who just wants to force us around. Well, no, there is something about shit's about to hit the fan, buddy. Get your asses to work. So here's another thing I got backlash on. You know, his drinking. He was a quote unquote alcoholic, to a lot of people say. The man was in his off time. He was off duty, done with his shift, captain of the ship. He's got captain's prerogative. His executive officer was in charge. And they're in the middle of a 100-year peacetime. The chances of conflict are extremely low. Why did people go nuts over the fact that he came back on shift, buzzed, and reeking of alcohol? It's a character flaw in him. It is. Nobody's perfect. I put the alcoholism in there as a character flaw intentionally. Okay? No one's perfect. Not a single. John is not perfect either, despite his God-like abilities. He's not perfect, people. So, yeah, he has a drinking problem. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have been drinking on board the ship. But at the same time, it's his off duty. He didn't intentionally come on duty drunk. He had to be there because of the battle stations alert. If the battle stations weren't called, the man would have probably polished off the bottle and passed out drunk. Can't blame the guy, honestly. I don't blame the guy. That's just me. I tell ya, people have got strong opinions on stuff. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. So another point here. No one. I didn't get any. Oh, where is it? Didn't get any notice on it. No, nothing. No one mentioned about this part here. Where is it? Well, it's up in here somewhere. For the security officer. The conflict that I created between the security officer and he's not mentioned in my name. I did not give him a name because this is the only time he's ever mentioned in the entire series. He is a nobody character. Absolutely nobody. He's useless. That was just there to create conflict. That's it. That was the only reason. Should I have put it in? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But, I didn't get any feedback on it, good or bad. So I'm going to say it's a wash. It's a good thing. So I don't know why I mentioned it in this because it always bugged me after I produced the book. It always bugged me that maybe I shouldn't have put it in there, but it is what it is. So here we are in the actual battle, trying to get it in. There isn't anything exciting that isn't shown in the book. There's nothing behind the scenes in any of this that need to be mentioned. Just a standard battle. Emergency burn. I didn't get any contacts or any people questioning on how my hyperdrive system works. So I'm gonna take it that people understood the concept of what I created with the hyperdrive system. It is definitely not something normal in any sci-fi works out there. It is I could be wrong, but from my knowledge, completely unique on how it works to my universe. If there's something else out there that I don't know about, I apologize. I'm not trying to steal it, but yeah, just let me know. Send a comment or and say, hey, this book series by blah blah Bloominghan has this exact same light speed technology as you. I'd be curious to look into that and find out. But as of right now, from this broadcast, to my knowledge, this faster than light technology for the hyperdrive, even though it's named hyperdrive, it's not an actual hyperdrive in like Star Wars or whatever. It's the way it works is completely unique to my universe, and I'm actually kind of proud of that. So, and everyone seemed to have understood it, and no, I've got no questions from it. Like, oh, how does this work? No one ever said anything. So I'm not gonna take a deep dive into that because I don't think it needs to be. I mean, if it does, if you guys want me to do a deep dive into it and explain how it works, let me know. I will absolutely no problem go into detail on how it works. I don't have a problem with that. Well, I won't go into super technical details because let's face it, I'm not a I'm not a oh, what would the term be in futuristic terms? I'm not a well, I should say I'm not a theoretical physicist, so I'm not going to tell you how the atoms form this and do that. I'll just explain the best of my knowledge of what I can do about that. So what John's doing here is a pretty oh, here's the hyperdrive explanation. But what John's doing at the end of this chapter, talking having a conflict with the lieutenant chief engineer at the time. At the end of this chapter here, it actually is explained in chapter 2 or 3 of what he does. But he ties the hyperdrive system into the life support because life support is a completely independent, redundant system, and it's not taking any damage. But the hyperdrive is. So in order for them to get away, he had to hack into the ship and tie the life support into the hyperdrive to feed power into the engines to send them to Earth. Very highly illegal in the Federation, but it saved the ship. It saved thousands of lives. That was basically it. I mean, chapter 1 wasn't too big of a behind the scenes type thing. There wasn't too much commenting on it. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover on it. Oh, and that's chapter 1. Please put some comments down. I'll take a look at them. And in the next week, the next episode, if there's anything you guys want me to point out, explain, go over, I absolutely will. I hope you enjoyed the episode, enjoyed the stream, watched the video. Next time, I'll catch you around. See you next week.